the second annual NBK draft party in Atlantic City. There'll be a live podcast, live DJ, live video shoot. $40 for a VIP ticket, $30 for draft night only. Get your tickets now. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, get your tickets now. We're actually here for the NBK or the NBA Draft Lottery Special by NBK. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot of people wishing and hoping and feel like the New York Knicks might move up in the lottery. I'm not exactly sure, but we're going to see. You can see on your screen right now, there's a blank lottery order. All right. And we're going to update that lottery order as the teams are called out. We'll keep it updated for you. I got my man Andy in the building. I'm pretty sure we'll have some other people join in. And, yeah, we're going to go ahead and talk about this, man. Andy, what's popping with you? 21 minutes until the draft. Oh, and let me let people know. The link is in the description of the video. If you want to purchase your draft party tickets. I know some people are probably waiting to see where the Knicks end up before they purchase those tickets. But you might not want to do that, ladies and gentlemen. You might want to get them now because those things are going to fly off the shelves. The link is in the description of the video. It's also going to be pinned to your YouTube chat so you can purchase your draft party tickets in Atlantic City, June 23rd, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be dope. Andy, what's popping with you, bro?
For the chat, happy to be on. Listen, it's 20 minutes till 2 a.m. here, but you know the draft lottery is such an important date for an NBA fan that this is one of the days that I have to be up and see it live. Yeah. I'm not waking up to my phone buzzing around and fans chirping on this team, that team, whoever has luck, like it's the championship game. So yeah, I gotta see this one live.
Yeah, I'm with you. 20 minutes to go, ladies and gentlemen. The Knicks are in a funny situation when it comes to this draft, right? They're in the 11th spot. They can move down to 12. They can move to 13. They have no chance of moving to 14. And they have zero chance of getting numbers 5 through 10. I'm not exactly sure how that works, but that's what it is right now. They can't get 5 through 10, but they can get 11, 12, 13. They can't get 14, but they can also get 1 through 4, right? They have like a 2% chance of getting the number 1 seed, or not the number 1 seed, but the number 1 pick. All right, so as we get going, if the Knicks aren't called at 13, if they're not called at 12, and they're not called at 11, then they moved into the top 4. Right? It's a funny situation. I'm not exactly sure how there's no chance that they get 5 through 10, but I'll take it. Maybe you can explain it to me.
Yes, and listen, for me, it's also kind of crazy, but I'm guessing it's because the whole system was revamped like 2 seasons ago. So the first, the worst 3 teams of the NBA have the same odds, and I think that mixed up a couple of things. Though I think at least for the teams that barely missed the play-ins, like the Knicks. I think that's the situation that actually is good. So, we know that we're not just going to bump, there's not a situation that only one team drops and like every other team steps up, at least, 4 or 5 seeds or whatever. You can get up, 1 seed or the top 4. And I think, that's kind of good. But then again, I still would think that in a couple of years, we're going to see this, this whole system revamped again.
Yeah.
Probably for even a better idea.
Right. Because, I just don't understand how there's no chance that they can get 5 through 10. I just don't understand that. But then they can get 1 through 4. That's a little bit weird to me, but like I said, I'll take it. And if they get 1 through 4, I'll be totally happy about it. You know what I'm saying? Totally happy about it. Again, if you're just joining us and you heard what I just said, this is what it's like. The Knicks right now are projected to have the 11th draft slot, right? The 11th pick. Now, there's like a 78% chance that they receive the 11th pick. They could drop to 12. They could drop to 13. They cannot drop to 14. They can't get picks 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10. There's a 0% chance that they get either one of those picks. But they can get 1, 2, 3, or 4. So the Knicks can get 1, they can get 2, they can get 3, they can get 4, they can get 11, they can get 12, they can get 13. So we will see where the New York Knicks end up. All right, and I'm going to bring across for you the odds of the New York Knicks getting, some of these picks here. All right, we'll start with, I guess we'll take a look at Tankathon. All right, and I'm going to pull this up so big screen so you can see it. The Houston Rockets have a 14% chance of getting the number 1 pick. The Orlando Magic and the Detroit Pistons also have a 14% chance of getting the number 1 pick. Oklahoma City, they have a 12.5% chance of getting the number 1 pick. Right now, they're projected to be the 4th pick. The Indiana Pacers have a 10.5% chance of getting the number 1 pick. They're currently projected to get the 5th pick. The Portland Trailblazers are currently projected to get the 6th pick. They have a 9% chance of getting the number 1 overall pick. The Sacramento Kings are currently projected to be the 7th pick. They have a 7.5% chance of getting the number 1 overall pick. And then you have the New Orleans Pelicans, who receive the 8th pick, or at least what's projected to be the 8th pick, from the Los Angeles Lakers. That's crazy for the Lakers, man, because, they didn't make the playoffs this season. The Pelicans, did, or made the play-in or whatever. Yeah, they made the playoffs, right? The Pelicans did make the playoffs. And they're receiving the Los Angeles Lakers 8th pick. Glad we aren't the Los Angeles Lakers. But that pick goes to the New Orleans Pelicans. The number 9 pick, San Antonio, they have a 4.5% chance of moving up to the number 1 overall pick. The Washington Wizards, projected to be number 10. They have a 3% chance of moving up to the number 1 overall pick. The Knicks, projected to be 11. Again, they have a 2% chance of moving up. OKC gets another lottery pick in this draft because they receive it from the Los Angeles Clippers. That's number 12. They have a 1.5% chance of moving up to the number 1 overall pick. And then the Charlotte Hornets, right now they have the 13. They're projected to have the 13th pick with a 1% chance to move it up. And the Cleveland Cavaliers are projected to be the 14th pick, and they have 0.5% chance of moving up. And then the rest, that's the lottery, ladies and gentlemen. 14 minutes to go before we get to the lottery. That's the lottery. And then the rest of the draft looks like this. The New Orleans Pelicans, which goes to the Charlotte Hornets, will be picking number 15. The Atlanta Hawks, 16. Brooklyn, who that draft pick will go to the Houston Rockets, will be picking 17. The Chicago Bulls, 18. The Minnesota Timberwolves, 19. San Antonio Spurs, they have another pick in this draft from the Toronto Raptors. They'll be picking number 20. The Denver Nuggets will be picking 21. The Utah Jazz will be picking number 22, but it'll go to Memphis. Philadelphia, their pick will go to the Brooklyn Nets. That's number 23. Milwaukee will get the 24th pick. Boston's pick is going to go to San Antonio. So the San Antonio Spurs have 3 picks in this draft. 3 picks, all 3 first-round picks. 1 in the lottery. Then they have the number 20 pick, and then they have the number 25 pick. And then the Dallas Mavericks have number 26, the Miami Heat, 27, the Golden State Warriors, 28, the Memphis Grizzlies, 29, and then OKC will have their 3rd pick in this draft. As they pick number 30, they get that pick from the Phoenix Suns. So the Phoenix Suns will make the pick, and then it goes to the Oklahoma City Thunder. All right, so that's what the first round looks like, ladies and gentlemen, and we can move on down. Nope. I thought we had the second round here. We don't have the second round here. So that's the first round. And the Knicks do have a pick in the second round. I believe it's number 42. The Knicks pick in the second round. So there we go. Andy, if the Knicks do happen to move up into that 4 slot, right? They can't move to 10. So the best they can do is 11. If they don't move up to the top 4, the best they can do is 11. If they do happen to move up into that top 4, what are you doing with the pick?
I'm torn. I'm really, really torn, Sim, because this is not the year to jump up. And I saw a stat that literally after the Patrick Ewing pick, we never moved up. We
Right.
just stood pat or dropped a seed here or there.
Right.
So listen, it might be the Knicks' luck to jump up in the lottery in one of the weakest drafts, in the last several years, right?
It could be. It could be. It could be. It could be just the Knicks' luck, right, to move up in this year's draft. I mean, even still, it can only be good for the Knicks to move up, right? It can only be good. The best, the better draft pick you have, the more you can do, the more value that pick is going to have for you, and the more you can do. You know what I mean? But I agree. This could be the year that the Knicks end up jumping into the top 4. But what do you do? What do you do? I mean, Harlem Girl said this team needs talent. So moving up is still good. I agree. The team needs talent. Moving up would be good no matter what. Even if you decide to trade it, moving up is going to be good. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. What do you do?
Yes, and listen, exactly like you said, the possibilities is, to make the pick or to trade it, right? And I think, definitely it's going to have more value if it's going to be higher. So I don't think it's a bad situation when you jump up. Then again, Sim, the Knicks fans are, bashing the whole lottery system for like 25 years now. So I'd rather wait till next year to move up. Then again, next year we might not be in the lottery.
Right.
So
right.
So
let me ask you this:
we're gonna wait and pick a year to jump up, right?
Yeah. Let me ask you this, because I seen this on Twitter, right? If the Knicks were to get the number 1 pick, would you trade it for Donovan Mitchell if he was available? Would you trade it for Donovan Mitchell this year?
Man,
Of course,
so
not.
hard because
Of course, it wouldn't be just that pick, right?
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot more to it. But would you trade it for Donovan Mitchell if the Knicks got lucky?
Yeah, Sim, if it meant to stick around with RJ and Julius, thanks to that, I might consider it. I'm not sure what the Jazz would want aside of the first pick, but I might consider it. That would, make us like really, really accelerate the whole rebuild process, right? Without giving up RJ or Julius to get Donovan, that would accelerate it. But then again, the top, one of the top 3 probably guys are big men, right? So if you would take them, that would mean that you would have to be looking at moving Julius, right? Because I don't think Julius would work with one of the top 3 picks on the floor. So it's a shaky situation, really.
Yeah, it is a shaky situation, and ladies and gentlemen, there's about 10 minutes to go, 8 minutes to go. You can see it on your screen until we find out where the New York Knicks will pick this season or this draft season. I do want to remind you that we have the NBK draft party in Atlantic City on June the 23rd, ladies and gentlemen. It is going to be dope. We got 2 days of activities planned for you. On June the 23rd, we have the live podcast going on during the draft. We'll be doing a video shoot for the NBK intro. There'll be an appetizer buffet, plus you get 1 free draft beer. There'll also be live games and giveaways going on that evening. And then the next day, on June the 24th, we'll have a lunch podcast, a live podcast during lunch, and you'll get a full lunch buffet. We'll also continue to do a video shoot for the NBK intro video. We'll have a basketball game. You're going to get the chance to see me wax Isaiah. All right, so make sure you're there, ladies and gentlemen. It's $40 for a VIP ticket, so $40 covers both days, and, of course, the appetizer buffet and the lunch, and then $30 is for draft night only. It's going to be dope, so make sure that you join us. I want to see you there. All right, there's a link in the description of the video. There's also a link pinned to your YouTube chat, all right, so that you can purchase your tickets. As soon as we find out where we're picking, you can go get your tickets and join us at that draft party. And there's going to be a lot going on, not just the draft. Of course, we're going to watch the draft and everything, but just a lot happening. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a great time. So we hope to see you there, ladies and gentlemen. One of these days, we're going to get Andy there. This is the second annual one. Next year, we are going to raise enough money so we can fly Andy to Atlantic City from Poland. Join us at the draft party. You know what I mean?
Yeah, same, because we know Isaiah ain't gonna fulfill that, thing that he promised several times, right? That he's gonna fly me in.
Oh yeah. That's not gonna happen. That's not happening whatsoever. So let me ask you, if the Knicks get the 11th, 12th, or 13th pick, what are you doing there?
Well, Sim, I got my favors to pick. I'm picking a guy that's gonna just make the players fight for the positions a little bit more, because I'm not a fan of trading down that much, each and each draft, right? Of course, if you can get your player by trading down, you can save a couple of $100,000, but I don't think that's the case with the Knicks right now. Of course, sometimes that $0.5 million is going to mean something, and you can get a better player off the free agent market. But listen, I think nowadays the $500,000 isn't like a world changer for the salary cap situation.
True. Very true.
Yeah. So listen, I think I'm taking definitely a player that's gonna have the biggest upside, probably the most talented player. I'm not picking any position that I have in mind. For example, I'm looking for a point guard because I think the Knicks need a point guard, because we know that around the 10th 11th pick, whatever, there's going to be a guy that's going to make major impact his first season with Tibbs as the coach. So I'm not counting on that. I'm rather counting on a guy that's going to make the guys that are trying to crack the rotation work really way more harder to get in those minutes. And I was putting out a name, and kind of biased on this dude about Jeremy Sohan. He has a Polish nationality. His mother is Polish, and he's one of those guys that probably won't expect getting minutes his first season, but he's a high motor, high energy player that's gonna make their rotation guys like Obi, probably Cam, look silly if they don't, practice really well around with Tibbs.
Right.
So I think every team needs a high energy guy off the bench or in the practice facility to make those, middle tier guys work a little bit harder, so they feel that, breath on their neck.
Right. Now, I hear you. And just to remind everyone, Worldwide West is going to be representing the Knicks during the lottery. Not the lottery pick, but, the lottery here during the lottery. He's going to be representing the Knicks. And then back watching the ping pong balls to make sure nobody cheats is going to be Brock Aller. All right, he's going to actually be in the drawing room. All 14 teams have someone in the drawing room, and all 14 teams have somebody representing them, for the public, for the camera. Okay, so for the Knicks, it's going to be Worldwide West, representing them for the camera, and Brock Aller in the back watching the ping pong balls to make sure everything goes as it should. And, of course, after the draft, ladies and gentlemen, after the draft lottery, the Boston Celtics and the Miami Heat going to be playing Game 1 of their Eastern Conference Finals matchup. That's going to be a pretty good series. Nate, the great. What's popping with you, man? It's been a minute. How you feeling?
Yeah, it has been. How you doing, Andy?
What up, mate?
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was listening to y'all talking, and I think the Knicks are in an interesting situation because I don't think most Knicks fans think we're going to move up. We're probably going to stay either where we are, or maybe even, hopefully not, drop down. But there's a slight possibility. It would be crazy the Knicks would get the first round pick this year, and this draft is kind of a little question mark. There's not really a number one player, and there's a lot of players that a lot of people don't know a lot about. Andy mentioned Sohan. I've watched Sohan because I'm in Texas. Right. Yeah, he's a very interesting, intriguing player, very long. Doesn't have really a shot, but is like a playmaker type of dude. Kind of like a Kevin Knox. I hate to say that, but he kind of plays like a Kevin Knox in the sense. Yeah. But he's got a long way to go. He's a very raw player offensively. Yeah. But I think defensively he's got some potential. Yeah. It's going to be tough.
It is. There's about 1 minute and 30 seconds left until the lottery begins. And, just quickly looking at the, mock from Tankathon, one of the many mock boards that's out there. You got Chet Holmgren projected to go number 1 to the Rockets, Jabari Smith number 2, Banchero number 3, Jaden Ivey 4, Shaden Sharp 5, Keegan Murray 6, AJ Griffin 7. Again, this is through Tankathon. Dyson Daniels at 8, Benedict at 9, and then who you're talking about at 10. Right, and Tankathon has the Knicks going with a center, Jalen Duren, from Memphis at number 11. Okay, so
I'm assuming we don't re-sign Mitch in that sense.
Yeah, you wouldn't be re-signing Mitch in that sense, right? And then OKC would be getting Eason, and then Charlotte, Mark Williams, and the Cleveland Cavaliers, Johnny Davis at 14, and that rounds out the lottery. I'm not going to go through this entire thing. That's just one mock draft. Obviously, there's a million mock drafts out there. I'm not going to go over all of them right now. So Tankathon is the easiest and most accessible. So we're going over to Tankathon right now. Would the Knicks look, because of the situation with Mitch, would they look to bring in a center? Do you think?
I think they would.
You think so?
Yeah, and if they did, I would actually go Marcus Williams out of Duke. Because I like his game. He's a big body. He can score a little bit inside, more so than our centers now. And he can rebound at a high level. I think I would actually, I think if we get him at that position, like let's say we stay at our position, that could be a steal because he's a very talented center. He's got a lot of talent, and Wendell Carter had success there at Duke. Jahlil Okafor was kind of a bust, but I think this guy's got a lot of potential to be a good center.
If I'm getting a center, I really want somebody that can shoot the rock. I just feel like it's needed on this team. Andy, what do you think, man? Do you think the Knicks could be thinking center if they end up, getting that 11th, 12th, 13th pick?
Wilson, I didn't see still that much of, tape on these guys because, I can't say like 20 minutes of highlights and prospect videos is much. I don't get a chance here to watch the NCAA, so it's hard for me. But if I'm looking at a center, I really think that, like you said, he needs to be able to stretch the floor at least a little bit because current centers don't do that for the Knicks.
Right.
So, it would be perfect to have a guy that could do something else, and be more versatile than what we have currently on the roster.
Right. Yeah, I think that would be if the Knicks are not going to keep Mitchell Robinson, and I don't want to say not keep him like they're going to throw him away, or they have no interest in re-signing, but if they're going to end up moving on from Mitch and he's going to go to another team, I want them to find someone that can shoot the ball. I think it's vital to the way that this team runs their offense, is that you have someone who can shoot because too many times it's either Mitchell Robinson, Nerlens Noel, or even Jericho Sims out there, and they got the ball sometimes in space. And they can't do anything with it. And it does just cut off some of your options, in the way that
would Would you sacrifice rim protection and rebounding over shooting?
Oh man, I'm hoping that I'm getting someone who can, rebound and protect the rim too, from that center spot.
You're talking about a top center, Sim. Come on.
I get it. I know. I know. I'm talking about a top center. But they don't have to be a top center though, right? Because you can get someone who can rebound good enough. And they don't have to be a top scorer. They don't got to give me 20. Just be able to shoot it when necessary. They don't have to give me 20. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so,
I get you.
So that's why I'm like, I don't think they have to be a top center. They just have to be able to shoot the ball in space, when it's available, when it's there. And right now we don't get that from our centers at all.
One player I'm really would love to get our hands on is Jaden Ivey. I think that guy has got potential to be a really good player in the NBA with his size, his handles, his shot. I'd love to have a chance at getting him. But yeah it's going to involve a lot of maneuvering and a lot of luck.
Yeah. What's weird about the Knicks is that they have talent at every position except for point guard. Okay? I mean, no, let me back that up. They have talent at point guard. Emmanuel Quickly, if you want to label him a point guard, is talented. Derrick Rose is talented. Those guys are good basketball players. So I don't want to say that they don't have talent. I think Deuce is talented. I don't think he's ready, but I think he's talented. But their talent stops at a level right now. Derrick Rose can play with the best of them, but he's, he's injury
He's winding
prone.
down.
He's winding down his career, and he's injury prone, et cetera, et cetera. Emmanuel Quickly is still trying to figure out about Emmanuel Quickly. So the Knicks have talent there, but it stops at a certain point. Every other position, the Knicks have decent talent. Again, though, it stops at a certain point. Power forward stops at a certain point. At the small forward spot, stops at a certain point. Shooting guard stops at a certain point. And you got guys coming off the bench that are talented, but it stops at a certain point. So it makes it tricky when you're drafting, because are you going to get another guy where the talent stops at a certain point? Now, obviously, we have some guys that are able to get better. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it makes it tricky on how to maneuver in this draft. I mean,
it's funny you say that, Sim, because I was thinking before I got on the show, I could actually see the Knicks taking a very high ceiling raw player, like a Sohan type of player that you really don't know what's going to come out of this dude. But he's got Tayshaun Prince potential, in my opinion, on the defensive end, and he's got some playmaking ability. I could see the Knicks doing something like that because, like you mentioned, our players are limited and capped at some point. Why not take a shot at somebody who's got a high ceiling, but maybe you just he's not going to show it like right off the bat right now. It's somebody you're going to have to develop and get better, and he's going to fit along the timeline of some of our young guys.
Yeah. Are we in position to do that? Do you think, Andy? Are we in position to do that?
Like I said before, I think, I don't think there's a guy around the 11th pick that's gonna, beat out the at least at the wing spot.
Mm-hmm.
Neither Obi nor, RJ, definitely not. And we have so high hopes on Cam. So, it looks literally like the wing rotation is set for the next season. You can also play, Grimes a little bit at the 3 sometimes. So I think, as high as we predict our players, on the current roster, having the talent and the skill set, I think that the guy would just have that at least the first season to ease in the rotation and make those guys, work hard for the minutes. And, meanwhile, he would get the necessary experience and the training in so he can, sometimes at least get the burn, and for the future could definitely, be a rotation, player. So,
yeah. I see people in the chat saying that, we need someone who can hoop now, right? We need someone who can contribute right now. And, I kind of agree. I think we do. I don't think the Knicks have so many draft picks in this draft, going all the way down to, those number 2 picks. You got to find a way to package some of those picks and bring in a contributor, someone who has an impact on the basketball game. I think, in my opinion, you look at 5 second-round draft picks, I think it is. You know what I'm saying? 5 second-round draft picks. You gotta 5 second-round draft picks, and of course, you don't have to sign those players, but there's still a lot of young guys you're bringing into your organization. You know what I mean? Although the Knicks are set up with all of these second-round draft picks that they have over the next 2 years. If they don't use them for trades, they're set up to really establish a farm system. Because you can now take all of these second-round draft picks, have them play in your G League, and watch them develop. You know what I mean? Now, they may never end up playing for your team, but you have a chance to get them there and let them grow, let them play, let them develop. Because remember, this is going to be a year where next year, not this year, next year, I'm sorry. Next year is going to be a year where this year they have 1 second-round draft pick. Next year they have 4, 5, or something like that. So that's going to be a year where guys are able to grow and develop. Guys are able to come in out of high school, and then you can put them into your farm system and let them grow and develop. But so the Knicks, over the next few years, they're going to have plenty of young guys to watch. They're going to have plenty of chances to try to get someone who is raw and develop them. I think this is the year where they can use this first-round pick to bring back an established player, because you have all of these draft picks that you're going to be able to use in the future. You know what I mean? And so I think that would make sense for the Knicks to make sure that they get in a player that's going to contribute somehow, some way. And then next year you can focus on taking shots in the dark. What do you think about that, Andy? I know I went the long way around what I was saying, to try to get to my point, but what do you think?
Yeah, well, listen, Sim, if there's a guy that, can crack the rotation of the current roster, of course I'm going to play him. It's not like I'm not going to play him because I want to see what these guys are made of, right? Mm-hmm. But, no, looking at Tibbs and the actual young roster that we have, I think, it's hard to envision, at least for me, a guy that can be in this draft that's going to literally from day one earn those minutes, even before training practice, or the season begins, right? I think it's going to be really hard, and it will really have to be a situation in the summer league, for example, that he balls out and averages like 25 and 6, whatever. That might, open a couple of eyes of the front office and maybe make Tibbs play him. But personally, from what I've seen in this, in these prospects, I don't see a guy that, around 11 that I'm like penciling in the rotation from after the the draft happens.
Right.
So
right. I agree. And that's the reason why I would, especially if I get top 4,
trade it.
I don't know. If I get top 4, I might look to draft.
Ivy.
If I'm getting 11, 12, 13, that's the lowest the Knicks can go is 13, then I think I'm looking to move it. And you guys may be a little bit ahead of me. We'll find out. We'll see. I don't know. But as soon as they come back from a commercial, they'll be ready to reveal the draft order, ladies and gentlemen. So let me remind you, while we're waiting for them to come back from the commercial, June 23rd is going to be the NBK draft party in Atlantic City. All right, we're doing it in Atlantic City because there's a lot of Knicks fans from all over the place, and sometimes they want to come to a central location. So, figured that was a good spot. It's going to be at the Flagship Resort, June 23rd and 24th. It's going to be a two-day event, ladies and gentlemen. On June 23rd, we're going to watch the draft. We're going to have a live podcast. We're going to shoot a video. You have a chance to be in the video. There's going to be an appetizer buffet that includes 1 draft beer, live games, door prizes, giveaways, etc., etc. And then we're going to have, a bunch of our content creators there as well. So make sure you join us. That's going to be dope. And then on June the 24th.
My birthday.
Okay, happy birthday to you. On June the 24th, we're going to do a follow-up podcast that's going to include a full lunch buffet. All right, we'll continue to do a video shoot for the NBK intro. And we'll have more giveaways, more live games, and we'll play a basketball game. It's going to be dope. Have some basketball activities. It's going to be fun, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to join us, the link is in the description of the video. It's also pinned to your YouTube chat. All right, so join us. As soon as this event is over, as soon as this show is over, make sure you click on that link and purchase your tickets, okay? Because those tickets are going to be going soon. So make sure you get them. In the meantime, while we're waiting for them to come on, let's go ahead and take a couple of phone calls if we can. And as soon as never mind. Look like they hung up. If you want to call in, 516-405-2246, give me a call as we're waiting for the lottery order to be revealed.
Hey, Sam.
All right. Yeah, go ahead. What's up?
What do you think about maybe trying to package a deal with Phoenix for Ayton? And let's say if we got a top draft, let's say we got, the skies aligned and we got the top pick or top 4 or 5 pick, putting that together with a package to get DeAndre Ayton, because you said we need a guy who can stretch the floor. DeAndre Ayton can shoot the ball. He can rebound at a high level. And I think that he's done with Phoenix.
I mean, who are you moving in that package? I mean, Julius Randle? Do you think?
I'd like to move Julius Randle, but I don't know if they'll take him. It's going to probably require another draft pick for next year, probably. But I think at the talent level of DeAndre Ayton and the way he was utilized, I think that he would fit perfectly with the Knicks. I think that is exactly what we need at that center position. And if we have Quickly playing the point guard, he's shown them ability to get in the paint and all that. I think him and DeAndre Ayton cook a lot with RJ. So, I mean, I like DeAndre Ayton. I'm a big fan of him, and I hate how they used him in Phoenix. Yeah. And I think that he wants a fresh start. New York is a big market. He would thrive in this market, but it's going to involve us having to give up some picks, probably try to throw some players in there. But I think it could be done. I think it could be, especially if we land a high draft pick.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I think it's possible. I think it could be done as well. I would be interested, no doubts about it. I would be interested in that,
starting with myself, and had a great season.
Sorry about that. That was Damian Lillard, by the way, because he's, on the kiosk for the Portland Trailblazers. But would the Phoenix Suns be interested in Julius Randle? Do they think or believe that Julius Randle makes them better? Because they're not looking to just make a trade just to make a trade. The Phoenix Suns are going to be looking to get better. I mean, they just got eliminated in the second round. They're expected to be a championship team. They expected themselves to be a championship team. They're looking at themselves and saying, how do I get better? Does Julius Randle make them better?
Well, I think he's an upgrade over Jay Crowder at the 4 position.
Right, but then they lose something at the center position. So,
they got JaVale McGee.
Man, I know they got JaVale McGee, who's serviceable.
He's going to be a free agent this offseason.
So. I think they'll resign him. But yeah, I mean, it's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, he's serviceable, but they're losing serviceable, right?
True.
So yeah, that.
But it's just kind of weird because they really didn't utilize him. And the whole season, it was just kind of weird, like how he was played and throughout. And I just think that it's just not like, I don't know. I just think that he wants out and he's going to have a lot of leverage of getting out.
Yeah.
And,
we'll see how that goes.
Phoenix might want to get something instead of letting him walk.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Let me get to a phone call real quick. Caller, you live. Tell me your name and where you're from, please.
Yo, Sims, what's up, man? My name's Luke, first-time caller.
What's going on, Luke?
I live out here. Yeah, man. I live out here in Phoenix.
Okay.
And yeah, and I've been a Knicks fan since since the '80s. I moved out here in the early '90s from Utica.
Okay.
You know about it.
Wow. Yeah,
I heard
know
about it.
that.
Huh? You know about it.
Yeah, I know about that. I know about Utica. I
So,
used to live there. I used to live there.
Yeah, I just want to chime in today. I usually, when I do text, I do chime in sometimes. It's usually Van Siegfried. I chime in my little comments.
Okay.
But wanted to call today because I just feel like I'm bringing the luck tonight. I think we're going to get a good high draft pick.
Let's get it.
Now what we're going to do with it, I don't even want it. But I feel lucky. I feel like we're going to get it.
Yeah. Let me ask you this: since you're in Phoenix, what do they feel about DeAndre Ayton? Because you heard.
I think he's been soft since he came in this place, right? He's been soft. We got some hope. His first year, he kind of he was lazy, but then we kind of got him in that work mode. So kind of became a man a little bit, started working hard, but he still hasn't got that.
Yeah. Hey,
he hasn't got that.
Let me. They're getting ready to reveal the order, so let me jump onto that. All right. And I appreciate your time. Don't mean to cut you off, but I want to make sure that we get this here.
Let's get it. Let's get that. Let's get that pick.
All right. Appreciate you, my man.
Peace to the chat.
All right. Peace. All right. Looks like they're getting ready to do this shortly. They're coming out on the stage. Mark Tatum, the NBA Deputy Commissioner and Chief Operating Officer. And, well, we know the Knicks cannot get number 14. So we don't even have to worry about that. Number 14 goes to the Cleveland Cavaliers. All right. So now is where you start to get a little bit nervous. All right. Because the Knicks can get
unlucky 13. Oh,
okay. So the Hornets are 13. OKC is 12. All right. And here we go.
Expected.
And as expected, the New York Knicks have the 11th pick.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, there it goes. Wonk, wonk.
And that was quick. That was
Tibbs is
Wrap
like,
it up,
yep.
Tim. Play the AC. You know.
that was quick. I might as well hit him with it, man. Might as well hit him with it.
It's the Knicks, Sam. What do you expect? We
Jeez.
it's the Knicks, man.
Took all the air out the building just like that for us New York fans.
Trade it. Yes, at least we can complain till next time, right? So that that we didn't jump in like 29 years, not 28. So.
And you know the naysayers, they're gonna say, "Well, we shouldn't have won some of those games."
Whatever. Yeah, Tim. Just for me, just that on the thing that Nate said, if the Wizards are picking only on the 10 seed, or they jumped up.
No, they're 10.
Oh, okay. So I'm cool with that, winning those games, because that was my only point. If we won that, remember guys, the game that between the Wizards, like the third game till the end of the season, we won that game with the Wizards, and that was us having literally the same record that the Wizards were having that night. And if the Wizards would jump into the top 4, it could literally mean that it was our luck to be in that seed. So that would be the only game that I didn't want to win. But since they stick to 10, I'm cool with it.
Trade it.
You gotta say,
trade
right?
it.
So
Trade it.
Yeah, I mean, where I am now is, I don't know. We expected them. Listen, there was a 78% chance that they were going to have the 11th pick. So yeah, I don't know why I'm disappointed. You know what I mean? I guess you're just always hoping for something. You know what I mean?
We need it, Sim. We need it so bad.
But I mean, so at this point, someone said, Sim, I see him, enjoy it with your non-tanking. I mean, look, I always say, listen, I play to win the basketball game. And then the chips fall where they may. Now, in this situation, do I hope that they move up? Of course. That doesn't mean that I want them to go out and lose every single basketball game, because they could have lost every basketball game and still nothing happened.
And
You know what I
Sim,
mean?
this is the situation. Listen, Detroit had
Yeah.
they were like literally had the biggest chances to get the
Yeah.
one of the biggest chances to get the top seed, and they're picking
They got fifth.
Exactly.
So they dropped
Exactly.
from
They dropped because Houston, Orlando, Detroit, and OKC.
I'm gonna say OKC gets the number one.
I'm sorry.
pick,
Houston,
just because
Orlando,
OKC.
and Detroit all had a 14% chance of getting the number one overall pick. Right? So OKC, I guess, moved up into that top three. So it's Houston, Orlando, and OKC. We'll see which order it falls to. But there you go. You know what I mean? And it probably would have been the Knicks, probably would have been the team that fell out, right? You know, with the way that things normally go.
Sim. So there must be one more team that jumped in, right? It's the Kings.
Yeah, let's say it's the Kings.
Wait a minute.
It's the Kings that gonna be top 4.
Yeah, Kings,
top 4.
Orlando,
Yes.
Rockets, and OKC.
Yes, in the top 4. Yeah, Kings in the top 4. Oh, yeah, you know, and they could have been into the top 3. So we don't know where OKC ends up. Yeah. So the Kings jumped into the top 4. So now it's OKC, the Sacramento Kings. Who else was it? The Houston Rockets and the Orlando Magic. And the Sacramento Kings were 7th. They were projected to be 7th. So they jumped up into the top 4.
Yeah, and moved the Pistons out of the top 4. So,
you know, so I guess the question is, where do the Knicks go? What do the Knicks do? You know, they have the 11th pick, where it was expected, right? Where it was expected. What do the Knicks do? For those who are just joining us, welcome back. Welcome back. All right. We know the New York Knicks have the 11th pick in the draft. All right. So far, the Detroit Pistons have the 5th pick. The Indiana Pacers, number 6. Portland Trailblazers, 7. The New Orleans Pelicans, 8. San Antonio, 9. The Washington Wizards, 10. The Knicks, 11. Oklahoma City, 12. Charlotte, 13. And Cleveland, 14. The Sacramento Kings moved up into the top. Well, they move into the top 4. They were projected to be one of the 7th, or not one of the, projected to be the 7th pick, and they moved up into the top 4. So,
wow.
Yeah, there you go. And we'll see. They may end up, you know, and that probably, or it's probably already passed by. Let's see, because I was late. I was backwards. No,
it's come back on.
It's back on now. It's back on now. Here we go. So let's see what's going on.
OKC's gonna get the number 1. Mark my words.
So the Sacramento Kings have the 4th pick. So the Sacramento Kings moved from
7 to 4.
From 7 to 4. The Houston Rockets have the 3rd pick.
Oh, ahead of me.
Oklahoma has number 2.
And the Magic have the number 1.
And Orlando
Hey, maybe they got Shaq.
has the number 1 pick. Okay, so.
Dang, OKC has got another high draft pick. Wow.
What does Orlando do with that number 1 pick? Obviously, I'm asking this question in interest of the New York Knicks. But what does Orlando do with that pick?
Well, Sim, whatever they do, I think they're definitely gonna play it. Play them straight up in the rotation. So, and since the top guys are big men, then we could see maybe a Mo Bamba move. Because I don't think he's gonna be playing off the bench. Maybe that's kind of waste of his talent, and there were question marks around him. Maybe they're gonna look to move him.
Yeah. And
I think it's going to be Jamar.
And that is where my question comes in, right? Because if they select Holmgren, then Mo Bamba may be available, and is he somebody that the New York Knicks would be interested in? And would you make a move for Mo Bamba if he becomes available because Orlando is interested in Holmgren?
He's from the Bronx.
Harlem, right?
Harlem,
He's from
yeah.
Harlem. He's from Harlem. Would you make a move for Mo Bamba? Andy, would you make a move for him?
Sim, I definitely would if the price is right, of course. He can at least stretch the floor a little bit. I don't think he's that much, of course he's not a rebounder, offensive rebounder, at least that is, as Mitch is. But I still envision him, that he could work with Tibbs on the tactics side, both on defense and on offense. So yeah, I actually like Mo Bamba. We spoke about him, weeks ago. That at the trade deadline, maybe that we spoke about it in the offseason, before the season started, before he got those minutes, before he evolved a little bit this season, because we saw him took a huge step as far as his development this season. So maybe that becomes a situation with the Magic, right?
Yeah, and the thing though is I don't know if he's the answer, right? You know what I mean?
At least not the top free agent or guy that you want to you're looking the Knicks to get to New York, right?
Right. You don't know if he's going to be the answer. So we'll see what that is. According to Tankathon, the New York Knicks with the 11th pick would take Jalen Duren. All right, this is according to Tankathon. All right, just a little bit about the guy, if you don't know. He's freshman center, 6'11", 250 pounds, 18 years old, right? When he's drafted, he'll be 18. His birthday is November the 18th. Wow. He's from Delaware, so he's from the East Coast. All right. He doesn't shoot the three. So there you go. You're right back at it, right? Right back at it. He averaged 12 points, 8 rebounds a game. All right, in 2021, 2022. Per 36 minutes, 17 points, 11.6 rebounds. I don't know. I don't know if I agree with Tankathon, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't either. And he transferred from Memphis. He went into the portal, right?
Yeah. Right, exactly. Yeah, I don't agree. I don't know if he's the guy that the Knicks take with that 11th pick, if they're going to take a guy at all. I already told you, me personally, I'm trying to, I'm moving it.
Yeah,
I'm trying to find somebody. We have a lot of young guys on this basketball team. In my opinion, we don't need another one right now.
Yeah.
Right? We don't need another young guy that everyone's going to complain doesn't get playing time. And I'm not even including myself. I don't think we need another one. We need guys that can contribute to the game. We have 8 young players on the team. Very young players. 2 rookies from last year coming back next year. Quentin Grimes, Miles McBride. 3 rookies, Jericho Sims. All of those 3 guys you anticipate coming back. Emmanuel Quickly, Obi Toppin, 3rd-year players. Cam Reddish, RJ Barrett, 4th-year players. Like, these guys are young. And I know, 4th year, you've been in the league for a little while, but they're young guys. 21 years old, RJ Barrett. I mean, how many are you going to have that? How many are you going to have and expect them to play?
Not only that, but you have a coach that's very hard-headed and doesn't play young players already.
Well, I disagree. He plays young players.
He has to play young players when half your team is young.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to play. These guys played. Emmanuel Quickly and Obi Toppin both played significant minutes in their rookie year, right? He may not play the guys that you want to play, but still, I understand what you're saying, right? Now you bring in another young guy who's an 11th pick in a weak draft. Might be sitting at the end of the bench. He could come in and he could be a surprise, but he might be sitting at the end of the bench.
And the problem is, too, Sim, with this team is if you look at the whole roster, there's a glut at the guard, there's a glut at the small forward, there's a glut at the power. There's a little bit glut at the power forward. The 2 positions that you really have the biggest question marks are once again point guard, because we don't know if Quickly is going to be a full-time point guard for us, and you don't know about Mitch. And is Jericho ready to step into that role? Is Nerlens going to be there? So those are the two positions that I can see the Knicks, if they draft, they're going to look at those two positions.
Right.
Outside of that, they need to move some people. I mean, they got way too much saturation at the 2 and 3 position.
Right. T. Williams, not Tim. T. Williams says, Sim, this draft is deeper than you think. There's just no good point guards.
Yeah,
it could be,
sure.
and maybe it could. You never know. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes drafts like this surprise you, right? We will see. I'll be paying attention to the combine this week, and I'll be doing some shows about, some players that I see at the combine. I'll be watching it. I'm not going to be there. I don't know. Do you think, Andy, would you trade down?
I think it's possible. It's really possible. Depending, for me, the question is if the Knicks front office has that one or two guys that they're willing to even trade up, and if they see the draft, going and developing, they definitely will have deals on the table for certain names. And if those names are going to be dropping, they might even, try to trade down. Because
right.
I think it's going to be plenty of deals on the table. Like I said, I was talking with Steph. There's going to be definitely tons of deals on the table, depending on which team wants which player, and that's basically the situation every year. And I think depending how the situation develops live, it's going to be trades going down on the draft after the pick is taken, before the pick is taken, and stuff like that. So I think with this front office, it's highly possible that we might move a little bit down for a player that is going to have lower expectations for, at least for Tibbs and for the fans, to get minutes straight up for next season.
Right.
So.
Right. And I see Ajay says, Sim, how many young players does Memphis have? But the New York Knicks don't have a Ja Morant.
Exactly.
Right? He's one of young players. All of those young players, every single one of those, you got guys that at the end of the bench that's not playing, right? And like you said, you need guys that have talent. We're probably not going to be getting a guy that's going to have enough talent, in my opinion, that's going to break the roster right now. That's what I'm saying. Right? We're probably getting a guy that's not going to play that much. I don't know. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we get a guy that plays a lot, but chances are we might not be getting a guy that's going to get burned. And you're paying him, you still got to pay him number 11 money. So you might be paying him $8 million a year.
It's going to be less, I think.
Or less, $5 million or something like that a year. For 3 years or something like that. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. Is there any chance that the Knicks can move up with anyone? I mean, San Antonio's got 3 picks in the draft. I'm sure they want that number 9 pick. I don't know if the Knicks moving from 11 to 9 means anything anyway. When you look at Orlando, Oklahoma, Houston, Sacramento, all of those teams are in rebuilding stages. Why would they want Detroit's? At 5, they're rebuilding. Indiana's rebuilding. The only team, maybe the Portland Trailblazers, right? Because now they're looking to put players around Damian Lillard. Are they looking to put young players around them? I don't know. Or are they looking to build it out with veterans?
Well, they might just want to trade him too.
But then what's Portland? Anthony Simons? I don't think they're looking to move Anthony Simons, though. You know what I mean? So, where is there to do anything with Portland? If you're looking at 8, 9, and 10, is it worth it to give up some assets to move up to 8, 9, and 10 when I don't know if it's even worth it unless, there's somebody there that you're really, 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 really interested in, like Dyson Daniels or.
That's the thing is that
someone like that.
Do the Knicks really covet anybody up top to want to move up? Because that's the reason why you move up is you target a player that you absolutely one that's on your board that you say, hey, this guy could really
Right.
come in and change this team around?
Right. That's the question.
And I don't think there's anybody that the Knicks are really targeting at that, but I think they're more happy with the players at their position or later because they know they can. That's how they drafted last year. They didn't listen to what everybody else said. They just went out and got whoever they wanted.
Right.
So
that's the question. You know, if I'm the Knicks, though, if I'm looking at making some moves, I might look at teams that do not have a pick in the first round or that had to move their picks.
Lakers.
Okay, the Los Angeles Lakers. I don't know if there's anything we want from the Los Angeles Lakers, but
THT.
well, though, and I'm not saying well to THT, but the Knicks, I don't know if it's worth. I don't know. I don't know if it's worth the 11th pick, but
No.
if the price, I don't know. The Knicks could maybe find a way for the Los Angeles Lakers to take some salary away from us, but I'm not giving up the 11th pick for them to take away salary from us. And the reason why I say that is because if the Knicks want to sign some of these guys in free agency, right? Jalen Brunson, you guys know who we're talking about. They're going to have to clear up cap space because the Dallas Mavericks are not going to conduct a sign and trade. So they're going to need teams like the Lakers who have a trade exception, or like Orlando, OKC, these type of teams that have cap space to absorb our contracts, to open up room to sign someone like a Jalen Brunson. I'm not giving up the 11th pick to do that, though, right? Because that means you're not bringing someone back that's going to contribute to your basketball team. I mean, in a roundabout way, you are if you're able to sign a Jalen Brunson or somebody like that.
Sim, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
So about Jalen Brunson, I mean, I was really high on him this season. I like the way he plays, but right now, looking at just the two comparison between him and Quickly's younger than Brunson. Probably a little bit more electric, I guess, in his game more than Brunson. Brunson's more of a slow down, post up type of dude, slow pace kind of guy. Do you consider just keeping Quickly?
I mean, listen, I don't have a problem with it. If the Knicks want to keep, I don't want to say keep Quickly. If the Knicks want to rock with Quickly and give him a chance to run that point guard spot, I don't have a problem. Rock with it. See what happens. My thing is this. If you're going to do that, you can't just say, all right, we're going to rock with him we're going to rock with him. And then like in 3 months, you're like, this ain't working. I'm rolling. You can't do that.
Right.
You got to give him a chance to grow in that position. So if you're going to do it, commit to him and give him the resources to get better. Don't just, hey, we're going to try it out. If it don't work in 3 months, we're moving on from you. I don't think that's fair. So if you're going to do it, you got to commit to it. You know what I mean? I seen someone in the chat say, don't worry about Brunson. I agree, man. The way it's looking right now with the Dallas Mavericks and what they're doing.
He's going to re-sign with Dallas. Yeah.
Why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he take that chance to say, I may be able to win a championship here? We're a championship
they might go to the finals
team.
this year.
And the Dallas Mavericks would be looking and saying, if they don't make the finals this year, we're this close to making the finals. And if we bring this same team back, build some chemistry, because Spencer Dinwiddie is new to the team still.
Get Hardaway back.
Get Hardaway back healthy. We might have a chance to go to the finals. So, yeah, it's a good chance that he stays with the Dallas Mavericks.
Oh.
Is there any way, Andy, do you think the Indiana Pacers, looking at the situation that they're in, I doubt that they're going to swap the 11 and the 6 to get off of Brogdon's contract.
Oh, for that thing to happen, we would have to throw in an Obi.
And
that's like, yeah. No, I don't think they're going to take Randall. I think they're looking. They're in the rebuilding mode. They're gathering assets, so they're going to take young players or future first-round picks.
Yeah,
and I think Obi would fit with the Pacers rebuilding. franchise, the whole concept, right? But I don't think, us getting up to the 6 is worth Obi, at least at this point.
Yeah.
Well, listen, for example, I was thinking when you guys were talking about, for example, for the Knicks to move up for another team, for example, for a guy like a Ben Mathurin, right? Shooting guard. I only saw, like I said, like a 20 minutes on him, but what if a team said, listen, we're going to trade you the 6, 7, whatever pick that Ben Mathurin is going to be around, but for example, we want your 11th pick and a Quentin Grimes. So you literally swap Quentin Grimes for, not an unknown, but at least, probably a younger shooting guard, and that could probably, take rotation minutes that you envision for Grimes, right?
Right.
Question is if you want to, because then again the chemistry thing, the whole tactics, learning schemes and stuff like that, that resets basically, right, with another player.
Yeah.
So
See, I agree, and although Quentin Grimes is kind of a known commodity, right? Obviously, he still has some growing and learning to do, but I think he has a high floor, low ceiling. Kind of know what you're going to get from him, a 3-and-D guy.
Yeah.
That's what he's going to be.
And Tibbs knows, right? And Tibbs knows what he can get from Grimes. If he's going to have to, wait 3, 4, 5 months to learn about the new player, we around Christmas we're going to be, again, barking at Tibbs,
Right.
to get, bounced because we're not playing the number 6 or 7 pick, right?
Right. Still, Knicks fan said Grimes is not Mathurin. He said Benedict can be a Dwayne Wade type. He said can be. Are you sure? I don't know if I'm speaking around John here, but are you sure that if you bring in Mathurin, he's going to be better than Grimes?
Who do you play for? I never heard of this guy.
What if he ends up being? I don't think he's going to end up being Grimes, but I think he's going to be a good player. He's 6'7", 195. He played for Arizona.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good size.
Right now, that's like, you might be able to move up. If he's someone that you're really interested in, you might be able to move up. Now, if you move up and let's say you do move up and get him. Now, you're talking about Cam Reddish.
Mm-hmm.
You dig what I'm saying? Now, what are you doing there, right? Because Cam Reddish is basically the same guy. You traded a draft pick and Kevin Knox for Cam Reddish. Listen, you can have a lot of wing players. You're adding to that glut. I know you're taking it. If you did trade Quentin Grimes for him, you're taking the guy out, but I guess it's the same thing. Although Cam Reddish and Quentin Grimes do two different things out there on the floor.
I think the bigger question is Evan. Like, what is Evan's future plans with the Knicks? I don't know how old he is. He's what, almost 30, right? Fournier?
Yeah, he's 29. I don't know.
Okay, 29 years old. He's not necessarily in the timeline of our young players. I try to move him. If we could find somebody who needs a shooter or somebody who could put the ball in the bucket, I try to move him and then try to see because at some point Cam Reddish you got to see what you got in Cam Reddish, and I don't think coming off the bench you're going to see very much.
Yeah, but Nate, you're not going to get minutes for a guy like Cam Reddish in the starting lineup just to see what he can do for you. That's not this organization.
Right.
I don't think there's plenty of teams in the NBA that will risk it like that, unless you're you're fine with being in the lottery next season.
Yeah.
You know what you can get from Fournier. None of these rookies ain't going to get his minutes at day one. So
we're going to find out. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be doing a deeper breakdown of players, like really looking at guys that the Knicks would consider taking with the 11th pick and breaking these guys down in depth, all right, in the coming weeks. And, of course, we're going to discuss the possibilities of trading up. Tons of rumors are going to come out over the next week and a half, 2 weeks, about teams that could be looking to trade down or trade their pick altogether or whatever. right? And we'll be right in the midst of it all, talking about it and how it pertains to the New York Knicks. Because I don't think anybody really has an idea what the Knicks might do. I'm pretty sure there's going to be workouts coming up. We'll be covering those workouts. Right now, the Combine is taking place in Chicago. We're going to cover the Combine and what these guys are looking like there. All right. Mark Berman is going to be on next Tuesday, and he's out there right now having a close look at guys in the Combine, and he'll be able to come back and give us a report on what he saw and what he's thinking and what he's heard, because Knicks got scouts there. All right. And every team's got scouts there checking it out. So, he'll be able to come back and maybe give us a little bit of scuttlebutt. That's next Tuesday at 3:30. So be there for that. All right. Yeah. And before I do anything else, I'll pay one bill, ladies and gentlemen, and remind you about the draft party. It's going to be dope, and I want to see you there. Let me pay this bill real quick. Then we'll take some phone calls when I come back. The second annual NBK draft party in Atlantic City. There'll be a live podcast, live DJ, live video shoot. $40 for a VIP ticket, $30 for draft night only. Get your tickets now. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, get your tickets right now. The link is in the description of the video. It's also pinned to your YouTube chat. Again, June 23rd, that's the draft party in Atlantic City at the Flagship Resort. All right, we'll have a live podcast. We'll have a live video shoot. You can be part of that video shoot. There's going to be a live DJ there, DJ Shuttle. All right, we'll have live games, giveaways, all of that. Then the next day, we're going to have a follow-up podcast to talk about what happened at the draft, continue the video shoot. There'll be a lunch buffet. Then we're going to have a basketball game. I'm going to bust up Chef Zay. I'm going to break him down to the very last compound, like my man KRS-One. Knowledge reigns supreme over nearly everyone. Just wanted to say that. But anyway, get your tickets, ladies and gentlemen. The link is in the description of the video. It's pinned to your YouTube chat. I would love to see you there. The phone lines are open. Give us a call. I got about 10, 15 more minutes that I'll be on. All right, I want to talk to you. 516-405-2246. Give us a call and let us know what you think the New York Knicks will be doing in the draft this year. Some teams, if the Knicks do think about trading down, there's definitely some teams out there, ladies and gentlemen, who are not going to have a first-round draft pick. And these may be teams that the New York Knicks target. Now, they may be targeting these teams to try to pull in someone that is established in the league. So this is not really trading down. This is kind of trading the pick to a team that wants a pick. You know what I'm saying? So let's look at who some of these teams might be and then talk about maybe the possibilities and what those possibilities are. We'll start with the Los Angeles Lakers, because the Los Angeles Lakers, their pick is going to the New Orleans Pelicans. Okay, the Los Angeles Clippers at number 12. Their pick is going to OKC. So with those two teams there, Andy, Nate, anybody else that's in the chat, are there any players on those teams that you would say, I'll take this guy? Could something happen for the number? I mean, oh, man, when I look at it, the number 11 pick, it's still kind of high. And I don't think there's anyone on the Lakers that I really want. I don't know about the Clippers either. So, that may be kind of, anybody? Any thoughts there, Andy?
Sim, I'm just waiting for Knicks fans on Twitter. I bet you when I wake up in like 6 hours, it's going to be like, I'm going to take Paul George for that 11 pick, but I'm not adding Quentin Grimes, nor IQ, nor like Jericho Sims, because that's a deal breaker. So I'm just waiting for those trades to
That's coming. That's coming. Those type moves are coming.
Julius Randle, Evan Fournier, and take Kawhi and Paul George, because, that's going to be a fair for Knicks fans. So
I got a guy.
All right.
I mean, he played well in the playoffs the year before. This year he kind of fell off a little bit. But Terrence Mann, I would seriously I think Terrence Mann's got game, and I think that he had a bad season this year. Maybe wasn't utilized like he should have. Came off the bench. I'd like to see him. I would consider trading for him if we're giving the 11th pick away. I mean, because I don't know how good the talent's going to be at 11. And if you got a guy like Terrence Mann who's shown that he's got some game and just needs more polish, I take a shot at him.
Okay. Some other teams that will not have a
Sim,
first round draft.
Just to add,
Yep, go ahead.
just to add overly on this thing, I think there's a bigger chance of the Knicks getting a more kind of a vet player with on a deal around that 10 million mark for that pick, than us getting another young man on this team.
Yeah.
Because those teams, if they're stuck with some vets, they ain't gonna be willing to give us that great talent with that ceiling unknown,
Right.
rather than just plugging in us a Carmelo Anthony, whatever kind of guy that we could probably get in the off season somehow. So talking about these deals, we rather more possibility that we take a guy like a vet on an expiring deal for this pick, just to, for example, plug in a hole here, hole there, if we don't really envision anyone playing the minutes that we would pick around the 11th seed, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Now, I agree with you. I think it would be a vet type of player. And, looking at some other teams that will not have a draft pick, the Brooklyn Nets, they're not going to have a draft pick. Okay. I don't know what they're doing. You got stuff going on with Kyrie. Who knows what's happening with Brooklyn? Okay.
I'm not saying them, Sim. Let their,
Yeah. Let them,
whatever.
The Toronto Raptors, they won't have a draft pick. Utah will not have a draft pick. Philadelphia will not have a draft pick. Boston will not have a draft pick. And guess what? The Phoenix Suns will not have a draft pick. And
there you
this
go.
That is
There
where
you go. Get the Ayton train going.
That's where there could be some interest, because the Phoenix Suns will not have a draft pick. Okay. I don't know how much they'd be interested in Mitchell Robinson. How much would they be interested in Julius Randle? Okay. Andy, would you trade the 11th pick and Julius Randle for DeAndre Ayton?
Sim, I think so. Yeah, there's a high possibility I do that trade, depending of the, other moving parts, because we would definitely have to add, something here, something there. But overall, the scheme of the trade, probably so. What we got to take into account is that the Phoenix Suns are, in a quagmire here, because, they were deep into the playoffs, but CP3 isn't getting any, younger. He has signed a deal around the 30 million mark till the 24-25 season. Devin Booker is going to probably get that over 200 million deal this offseason. So their cap is going to be, drying out. And if they think to re-sign DeAndre Ayton, that means, the rest of the guys are rather staying, or they got to, work in the trade market to get guys on smaller deals to be able to, add, or like you mentioned, pick someone from the draft. But if you don't have picks, those draft, the draft pick is going to be more valuable, right? So they might, look at a deal to get that, pick. Are they going to be interested as high as 11? That's the question, because they got the framework of a team, right? They might even look at a Mitch deal, right? That's going to be cheaper than Ayton. They didn't use Ayton that much in that offense. So maybe more, Mitch might be even more fitting them than Randall.
Yeah, he's a rim runner and a shot blocker, which is what they need.
I mean, that could be. That could be. But does he make them... You're taking away a guy that I think produces more than Mitch and DeAndre Ayton, right? And you're adding, speaking if we did something like that with Mitch, and then you're adding a guy that offensively, it just doesn't give you the same.
Yeah,
Just
of course, 1-for-1 is going to be hard to replace Aiton, right? But
Right.
for
Right.
example, what if the Knicks added a Burks that they missed a
Okay.
guy off the bench that could plug in minutes in case of a bad game from CP3? He has the length, he played the position, stuff like that. I think if they are moving on from Aiton, and I think that's the situation with the Suns currently. Because there were rumors that even in the game 7 that there was a rift between Monty Williams, the coach of the year, and Aiton, which probably is looking for a max contract extension. That's like two major pieces of your franchise, and if they're not they're butting heads, then one of them guys got to go. So for me, I think the Phoenix Suns would accept a deal for a Mitch. Of course we would have to add a pick or even 2 first-round picks.
Right, but they wouldn't be in this year's draft.
And a rotation guy, right? So
I don't know. I mean, I guess you can, Mitch and
you could add
11,
one of the first round picks from the next season, right?
From the next season, right? But Mitch and number 11. I mean, maybe they would do that. The salaries, I don't, what's Aiton's salary going to be? Right?
He's on a rookie deal. Yeah, he's on a rookie deal right now.
He's going to be a free agent.
Yeah. He's going to be a restricted free agent.
He's going to be a restricted free agent. So right now, his max contract, I don't think he's going to get the max. Okay? But his max contract, this is the max, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, a max contract does not mean that you have to give this player that contract.
Yeah.
The max he can receive.
All right? It's just the max that he can receive. So the max contract is 5 years, $177 million. Okay, that would be $30.5 million in 22-23, $32.9 million in 23-24, $35.4 in 24-25, $37.8 in 25-26, and $40.3 in 26-27. Julius Randle's contract is not even close to that. Julius Randle doesn't make $30 million until the third year of his contract or something like that. That's when he first makes $30 million. So even if you sent, well, he's not going to get a max contract. I could picture him getting a contract similar to Julius Randle. $26, $27 million a year. I could picture that. If you include Mitch isn't getting that much. So if you include Mitch, in order for those contracts to match, you would have to add a Burks or something like that to make to make the money match once DeAndre Ayton is signed by the Phoenix Suns, right? Because it would be a sign and trade. But then you have to think about this. So in order for the Knicks can sign Mitch, but they can go over the cap to sign him, right? So I don't know how it works out. You know what I mean?
Well, the only thing with Ayton, these are scenarios that we would, love to happen, right?
Right.
Even if we'd have to add more picks and stuff like that. But there's going to be teams, for example, like the Pistons. They dropped out of the top lottery. They're going to have the 5th pick, right?
Right.
They might trade that 5th pick, get Ayton because, or sign even Ayton straight up, give him the max contract. They got Kate Cunningham. They got, Sadiq Bey.
That's true.
A guy like Ayton would fit there as far as, the timeline, rebuilding, and they're a small market team.
That's true.
So they will have to overpay for a guy. So they're in a perfect situation to get Ayton, stick with, Sadiq Bey, Kate Cunningham. If they don't move Jeremy Grant, they got 4 guys that will literally, that roster could look like a playing roster, at least a playing roster next season.
Right.
And so that's and the teams like that have to take those chances. The Knicks, we as fans saw that happening, so we were like, nah, play it safe, don't get too crazy with it. But teams like the Pistons, they're like, Pistons fans tomorrow are gonna wake up and look at the 5th pick, and they're gonna be like, nah, we gotta trade this one, and we have cap space. Make something happen because we ain't going to be taking this, beating the next couple of seasons again. So
yeah, and what we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen, is you know by now the New York Knicks have the 11th pick. So we're just talking about strategies and ways to use that pick. Do you draft a player? Do you use that 11th pick to bring in someone who can contribute to your team right here, right now. All right, so that's where we are in our discussion of the New York Knicks and their 11th pick. And one of the things that just came up is that the Phoenix Suns do not have a draft pick in this year's draft, and maybe they covet one. Maybe they want one. And would the Knicks use that 11th pick to trade for DeAndre Ayton? DeAndre Ayton at 21-22 averaged 17 points per game, 10 rebounds, 1.4 assists. He shot 63.4% from the field, and he shot 37% from the three-point line. And averaged just about 1 block per game. So, that is DeAndre Ayton. And it seems like he and the Phoenix Suns, maybe it doesn't work there.
Yeah, there's some miscommunication.
Yeah, so if that's the case and they're intent on moving on from him, maybe that's something that the Knicks could do. Me, personally, I would rather do something like that than use this draft pick right now. I just don't know if it's going to be the space.
Because that would help us fill a void at the center position and a guy who could give you 20 and 10 on a night, and that really boosts your offense. And if he can get more committed on the defensive end, that's a great piece that you added with a young core. And now you're talking about the Knicks. We're back into the play-in playoff situation again with DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah. Well, I guess it depends on who goes in the trade, though, when we say that. If Randall goes in the trade, you might be exactly where you are right now.
Yeah.
Which could have been playing. I'm going to say yes. I think you might be exactly where you are right now. Still, I don't think he's going to
or even worse than.
I don't know if he's going to be that much of an upgrade over Julius Randle, where he's all of a sudden going to, boom, take your team. Maybe you're talking, he's 23 years old, so maybe you're talking about in another 4 years, he's going to be that much better than Julius Randle is right now. But at this point in time, I don't know if he's that much better.
But with RJ taking a step up and let's say quickly really embraces this point guard role, and then you got the young guys that you're bringing off the bench, and you don't think that, if you don't think we're going to be a better team without Randall, then don't make the trade.
No, what I'm saying is, but you're also making that trade for the future because he's 23, Randall's 27.
Sure.
Right? So there's a 4-year difference between the two. He still has a lot more time to grow. In 4 years, Julius Randle will be 31. In 4 years, he'll be just entering his prime. So that's why you might consider making a trade. I just don't know if it gives you, it catapults you this season or next season. You know what I mean? It may be a couple more years. And then, of course, him and R.J. Barrett and, who are Emmanuel Quickly and these other young guys grow together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I don't know if it catapults you next season.
I hope it does.
And now, if somehow, some way the Knicks were able to make that move and they gave up Mitch and Alec Burks or, someone like that, and you added him to Julius Randle and R.J. Barrett.
But would that work with Julius and Ayton together?
I think he shoots 37% from three. He can spread the floor. He can shoot in the post.
Right? What about the defensive side? Both are kind of not bad.
Yeah.
Tibbs wants a rim protector.
Well, if you're trading him for Julius Randle, then you're getting the same thing. You're still not going to have, then he's not going to be a rim protector. And you're giving, if you're still not going to have a rim protector because then he's going to be starting and not Mitch. So it's still going to be the same thing. And then your 4 is going to be Obi Toppin. So what are you doing?
Unless you put Ayton at the 4 and Jericho at the 5.
It's not happening. Sorry. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Ayton is playing center. So now you're talking about Ayton at the center spot and Obi Toppin at the 4 spot. Are you getting that much better defensively? Nope. Right? If you trade Julius Randle, I'm saying. So you're not getting that much better defensively there.
Yeah.
So.
I think Knicks brass is like, man, we just paid this dude, and now, in a way, we're probably stuck with him, and unfortunately. And he's gonna have to get out of whatever is going on in his life and this stuff and make himself right.
Most likely, that's what it is. It's me. Thank you for the the comment. Just want to read your comment. He said, "We're rebuilding, not retooling," and I think that's in relation to DeAndre Ayton. What I say to that, is DeAndre Ayton is 23 years old.
Yeah.
Obi Toppin's older than him.
He fits the timeline
At
for
least
young
that's
guys.
that's what they're saying, right? Because he looks like he's 40.
Yeah. True.
Like Greg Oden.
You know what I mean? So, so if you're bringing in DeAndre Ayton, that's not about retooling. That is adding to a rebuilding plan, if that's what you want to say. He's 23 years old. Older than some of our young guys. Caller, you're live. Tell me your name and where you're from, please.
Yo, this AJ from Brooklyn.
AJ, what's popping with you, brother? How you feeling?
Yo, what's going on, man? What's up? What's up to y'all, man? What's up to the panel? What's up to
What up?
everybody listening, everybody checking in. Listen, we're the Knicks. We don't ever get a break, but it's all right. We're gonna survive, man. We're gonna make it.
Yeah, no doubt.
I'm calling about you talking about the pick. I would keep the pick.
Okay.
And here's the reason.
Okay.
Right now, I feel like there's no player that we can trade for that's going to make a huge difference. Okay. It's going to make a 2-3 game difference, which still puts us in the lottery or at best in the play-in at the 10th spot. We're not going anywhere. We're not going to win the championship. We might as well get some young kids and develop them and try to get something out of them. That's my first point. My second point is literally every time I hear one of these shows, I watch a lot of these Knicks content providers online. Everybody's trying to get rid of Alec Burks. I don't understand why. Why are we trying to get rid of Alec Burks so bad? He's a good piece to have on the team.
You know
Can
what?
somebody explain to me why are we trying to get rid of Alec Burks?
I don't think people dislike Alec. I don't dislike Alec Burks. I actually like Alec Burks. I am Jarella's in the chat. He will tell you that I pull out stats to show you how good Alec Burks was for this team defensively. All right. Okay. I find like stats from outer space and bring them in to let you know. So I do like Alec Burks. I think the reason why he comes up, one, you got some portion of the fan base that are upset because Tom Thibodeau used him at point guard. And they're like, hey, take his toy away from him. So that's some people. That's not me. The reason why I throw him into some trades is because I think that I do think he can be valuable to the Knicks, but I also think he might be valuable to other teams. And so he might be a guy.
Sam, I'm sorry.
I'm just explaining to you though. He might be a guy that can help you facilitate a move for a player that can possibly help change your franchise. That's why.
Hear me out. So you want to trade him because he could be valuable to another team? That's why I want to keep him, because he want to be valuable to another team. But that's number one. Number two, Tibbs. You can't want to trade him because Tibbs don't use him right. It's almost like, let me give you this example real quick, right? It's almost like you wake up one day and you find out your wife cheated on you with 5 guys. You want to beat up and kill those 5 guys, but you don't want to confront your wife. Nah, get rid of your wife. He's the problem. Get rid of Tibbs. He's the problem.
I understand that, but the thing is, even if you get rid of Tibbs, it's the Knicks. It's Alec Burks. He's a good player, right? And I'm all about having good players around, but is he more valuable moving him to bring in someone that can change your franchise if you have to move him, or keeping him and saying, no, we're not going to move him to bring in this guy that could possibly change our franchise? So to me, because I think that he is going to have some value on the market, he might be a guy that does get moved. He might be a sacrifice that you have to make to bring in a guy that helps change your franchise. And I'm not mad at Alec Burks. I like Alec Burks. But I understand what you're saying. You want to keep good guys around, but you got to give away something sometimes.
Where are you going to get that guy that's going to change the franchise?
What I'm saying,
Alec Burks,
but what I'm saying,
not out there.
No, what I'm saying, if he's not out there, then you don't make the move just to make the move. So if he's not out there, so you're still keeping Alec Burks. But if he is out there, he might be a guy that could go, because you got to give up something to get something. You know?
No, I agree. I agree. But if he's not out there, I'm keeping Burks.
No, I hear
the
you.
guy can come off the bench and drop 15, 18, 20 points. I'm keeping that guy.
I'm with you.
You know?
I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm not mad at
All
it.
right, but yeah, I'll definitely keep the pick and then, try to build from, do like Memphis, like Cleveland. Like Cleveland didn't make the playoffs this year, but next year I guarantee they're gonna make the playoffs. So, these guys or
You there? Oh, I think we might have lost him. I think my man must have watched this TikTok video. There's some TikTok videos that goes around where like the husband opens the door and says, "Hey, babe, you want 5 guys?"
Oh yeah, I've seen that
And she
one.
said-
I was wondering where he got that from.
Yeah, and she says, she says, yeah, but she's not talking about food. You know what I mean? And then, he must have watched a couple of those TikTok videos. You know what I mean? That's why he said 5 guys. Sheesh.
Sim, here's my thoughts on Alec Burks.
Well, let me just say one more thing, because if your wife cheated on you with 5 guys, she was probably doing that before you got married, and you probably should have known that before you got married. I'm not talking about you, my man that called in. I'm just talking and speaking in general. I'm not talking about my man that just called in.
Oh,
you know
my
what
God.
I mean? But I think what he's saying.
How are we talking about 5 guys?
I think what he's saying though, right? You get mad at you get mad at your wife, not just I'm gonna get mad at the 5 guys too, but I'm gonna get mad at mad at my wife too. Shout out to Josh, man. He's been a member for 14 months. You could be a member, ladies and gentlemen. As a matter of fact, if you're a member, you get a 10% discount on your draft ticket. Your ticket to the draft party. But he said maybe get a defensive, versatile rotation big at 11, Eason, Socon. But trading that pick plus Randall for Ayton isn't a bad idea. It works for both sides. Then Josh, again, thank you for the super chat. He said, let me get it up here. He said, by the way, Ayton doesn't shoot threes, but he can score. I mean, he doesn't shoot them, but he can hit them. It's not like, he shot, he made it from a 37% clip this season. He said, which is just as valuable. You can run plays for him in the post. He will not clog the paint. And I agree with him, though. But go ahead, Nate. You were going to say something.
Oh, just real quick to add to Josh's point, and the way the Knicks are training their bigs to shoot threes, who knows what Ayton can shoot if he comes on this team, So on Burks, here's the thing. I was one of those people that was annoyed by Burks playing a point guard position because I think that Burks' best value is coming off the bench.
Yeah.
Coming off, getting up some buckets when guys can't hit.
Nate, let me just jump in, though. Let me just jump in. Although he did shoot them at 37%, he didn't shoot a lot of them, okay? Like maybe 1-3 a game or something like that. So, let's put it there. He didn't shoot a lot of them. So, if you want to say he's not really a guy that's going to go out there and launch it up from 3, I agree. He's not going to be launching it up like that. All right, so let me correct myself there because he doesn't shoot a lot of them.
Right.
But when he did, he made 37%. When he did, but he doesn't shoot a lot.
Not bad.
He doesn't shoot a lot of them, though. He doesn't shoot a lot of them.
Yeah.
He'll take them when he can or whenever. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
No. Like I was saying, I like Burks coming off the bench. I think that's his primary role for this team is to come off the bench, get us buckets when people are struggling to make baskets. He is not a point guard. I don't want him playing point guard. I didn't feel like the offense flowed very well when he was point guard. I actually rather see Quickly playing the point guard position. But I do like Alec Burks coming off the bench. I think he is a valuable piece.
I do.
And I think he will boost the bench, especially, let's just say, and I hate to say it, but let's just say if Derrick Rose is out again or gets hurt, you're going to need him to step up and kind of play that point guard position off the bench if needed. So,
yeah. So, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, the draft lottery order, you see it on the side of your screen. The Orlando Magic get the number 1 pick. Oklahoma City, number 2. Houston Rockets, number 3. Sacramento, number 4. The Pistons, they get number 5. The Indiana Pacers get the 6th pick. Portland Trailblazers, they get the 7th pick. The New Orleans Pelicans get number 8. San Antonio, number 9. The Washington Wizards, they have the number 10 pick. And by the way, that 8th pick from the New Orleans Pelicans is by way of the Los Angeles Lakers. Okay, the Wizards, they get the 10th pick. The Knicks, we had a 78% chance of getting the 11th pick, and we got the 11th pick. The Oklahoma City Thunder, they have the 12th pick by way of the Los Angeles Clippers. Charlotte Hornets, they have the 13th pick, and the Cleveland Cavaliers, they have the 14th pick. And to round out the remainder of the draft, it starts with the New Orleans Pelicans at the number 15 pick. And they're actually going to be moving that to the Charlotte Hornets. I'll bring this over so you can check it out and see it for yourself. The Atlanta Hawks get the number 16 pick. The Brooklyn Nets, they'll be moving their 17th pick to the Houston Rockets. Chicago is at the 18th pick. The Minnesota Timberwolves is at the 19th pick. The Toronto Raptors, they'll be moving their pick to the San Antonio Spurs. The Spurs actually have 3 picks in this draft. So does OKC. They have 3 picks in this draft. The Denver Nuggets have number 21. The Utah Jazz will be moving their pick to the Memphis Grizzlies for number 22. Philadelphia will be moving their pick to the Brooklyn Nets. That's 23. So actually, Brooklyn does have a pick in this draft. They have the 23rd pick from Philadelphia. I guess that was through that James Harden trade. The Milwaukee Bucks, they have the 24th pick. The Boston Celtics will be moving their 25th pick to the San Antonio Spurs. The Dallas Mavericks have the 26th pick. The Miami Heat have the 27th pick. Boston and Miami playing right now in the Eastern Conference Finals. The Golden State Warriors, they have the 28th pick. The Memphis Grizzlies have the number 29 pick. And the Phoenix Suns will be moving their 30th pick to the Oklahoma City Thunder. So they will not have a draft pick, which is the reason why we were discussing DeAndre Ayton being moved from the Phoenix Suns to the New York Knicks, with that 11th draft pick that the Knicks have being something that helps to facilitate that trade. It's the reason why we were breaking that down, ladies and gentlemen. But that's what the draft board looks like this year. This year. That's what the draft board looks like, 2022. So in the coming weeks, folks, we're going to be really breaking down draft picks, possibilities for the Knicks, talking about trades, et cetera, et cetera. All right. Do want to get to a super chat here. My man Vaughn, thank you for the super chat. Vaughn Kwan, he said, if Jaden Ivey falls to 5 or 6, trade the pick with another asset to get him. If he is taken before then, trade the pick to OKC for Trey Mann. Mann fits the youth timeline, and he's a problem for defenses.
We could have had Trey Mann. We didn't want him.
I don't know. There's going to be a lot of talk about what's going to go on with the New York Knicks. We'll see what they decide to do. I'm pretty sure they're going to bring in a lot of guys to work out. They're going to be on the phones, making calls, trying to figure out what's out there. They do have a lot of draft capital to move around. And we'll see how they try to restructure this basketball team, ladies and gentlemen. But hey, I'm going to get up out of here. I will be on tomorrow as I start to break down players in the draft. All right. I do want to remind you, got to go ahead and pay some bills, I guess. Or pay one bill, not some bills, just pay one bill. And that's the draft party bill, because I want you to be there. All right. So check out the commercial. I'll come back and talk about it. Then we'll get up out of here.
The second annual NBK draft party in Atlantic City. There'll be a live podcast, live DJ, live video shoot. $40 for a VIP ticket, $30 for draft night only. Get your tickets now.
Get them right now, ladies and gentlemen. The link is in the description of the video. It's also pinned to your YouTube chat. I'll tell you one more time. On June 23rd, that's when the draft is, we'll have a party at the flagship resort in Atlantic City. There'll be a live podcast. There'll be a live DJ. That's DJ Shuttle playing music all night long. All right. We'll be doing a video shoot for the NBK intro, what you're going to see as we finish off the show. There'll be live games. There'll be giveaways. It's going to be dope. It's going to be fun. You also get an appetizer buffet on that night. And then the next day, June 24th, we'll do a follow-up podcast that's going to include a lunch buffet. Of course, we'll be doing the video shoot once again. Be live giveaways, live games, and we'll play a basketball game. Me first, Chef Zay. We'll also have other guys out there running, free throw contest, all that kind of stuff. It's going to be dope. It's going to be fun. $40 for both nights, both days. $30 if you can only make it to draft night. All right? Get your tickets, ladies and gentlemen. The link is there, and you'll get more details. Click on the link that's in the description or tag to the top of your YouTube chat. Get the details. Buy your tickets. I would love to see you there. And once you get your tickets, ladies and gentlemen, hurry up and call the hotel and book your room so that they're not sold out. All right? If you have any questions, leave it in the comments. Send me an email. Answer anything you need. Andy, any last words before we get out of here?
Yes, Sim. My mind is already, thinking about trades, about this pick and, the off season. Literally, like I don't know if I'm gonna be able to take a nap even before work. I'm already thinking about the possibilities with this draft pick, since we didn't jump up to the top 4 seed pick. Other than that, listen, guys, Steph is having a show currently. She just started, so when we wrap this up, she's gonna gladly provide you guys with more content. Her reaction to this lottery. Information that the Knicks had, that the rest of the NBA had. I know that there's, she has Chris there. She has I am Jarrell. So it's going to be a great show. I think Gavin is there. So just go straight up to there and have a good time and continue with this,
no
great content that we're providing you guys.
Yeah, I'm putting the link in the chat right now so you can go check that out, ladies and gentlemen. That's Dope Soul Sports Talk. Steph is over there right now. Make sure you go check that out. First, go buy your tickets and then go check it out. All right. So go buy your tickets. That's the order. Go buy your tickets. We just did the draft order. Now here's the order for tonight. Once you leave out of here, buy your ticket and then go to the Dope Soul Sports Talk. All right. I'll be over there in the chat too. I might even jump on screen and talk to him a little bit. Nate, some last words, man.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of question marks with this team for the offseason. It's going to be really interesting to see what moves we make, what moves we don't make. Really interesting to see what's going to happen. Because I think this is going to be one of those defining off seasons for us going forward.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate your time. It was they made quick work of it, man. They made quick work of it. Before we knew it, the Knicks had the 11th pick, and that was it. But
we
hey,
didn't get to build it up or anything.
Yeah, tell me about it. But hey, ladies and gentlemen, just pay attention, man. I'll be following the combine. We're going to be giving you more content, breaking down potential draft picks. Lot coming. Okay? Go over to Dope Soul Sports Talk. Check out Steph. All right? They're having a great conversation over there. Go purchase your tickets. All right? It's, the link is pinned to the top of your YouTube chat. It's also in the description of this video. I'm out, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate your time. Be peaceful. Have a good one, folks. And I will talk to you tomorrow. Peace. The second annual NBK draft party in Atlantic City. There'll be a live podcast, live DJ, live video shoot. $40 for a VIP ticket, $30 for draft night only. Get your tickets now.
This is NBK. Nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.